Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Nina Schor, and this is my friend Queenie. Queenie's going to help me tell you today a little bit about our brains. So here's a picture of a child with a brain. The brain sits all the way up in the head. And you can see in this picture of the brain that it also has a kind of a tail that comes down. This tail sits in the neck. It looks exactly like a stem of a flower. Well, that's, Queenie, that's very good, because that's called the brain stem. And so here's the brain in the head and the stem that goes down in the neck. So what does the brain do? I don't know. Do I have one? I think so, Queenie. I think we all do. The brain does a lot of things. I can't read yet. Can you read it to me? Sure, Queenie. I can read to you. The brain can see, hear, taste, smell, run, remember, sleep, think, talk, and breathe. Wow, that one thing does all of that? It does. It does. Different parts of it do different things. It's as if it's 10 different things rolled into one. That's amazing. Well, you know, Queenie, I think I was about as old as the kids watching this video when I got all excited about the brain and became a doctor who takes care of people who have sicknesses of their brains. So remember when I said that the brain had many different parts that did different things? Yep, that was just a minute ago, wasn't it? Yep, it was, Queenie, you're right. And this is a picture that shows that. The frontal lobe does decision-making and planning. The temporal lobe does language and hearing. And different parts of the brain do different things. Are they really colored like that in real life? No, Queenie. Everybody's brain looks exactly the same. And it doesn't matter what color your skin is. It doesn't matter what color clothes you wear. It doesn't matter where you live. Doesn't matter what part of the brain we're talking about. It's all one color. That's pretty cool. Now, you know, years ago, in order to learn about the brain, we had to wait for somebody to get in an accident or hurt a part of their brain. And this man, whose name was Phineas Gage, had an accident at work. And he hurt a part of his brain. And what happened to him is he went from being a really friendly, happy man who showed up every single day for work to being mean and sleepy and not coming into work every day. And people wondered why that was. And then they realized it must have something to do with the part of the brain that got hurt in the accident at work. Do we still have to wait for an accident to know how the brain works? No, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Now we have lots of tools that help us understand how the brain works. And the tools don't hurt people. We can use them without going inside the brain. We can tell right from the outside of their heads. So there are pictures here that show how we can take a photograph of the brain using magnets. There are pictures here that show how we can take a photograph that tells what part of the brain is using the food that we eat for energy. There are pictures, the one with the wires. You see the girl with the wires? Does it hurt? No, it doesn't hurt at all. It's kind of like putting a hat on your head. So, oh yeah, I have a crown. It doesn't hurt. Yeah, that's exactly right. So she has those wires on her head, and they measure the electricity that comes out of the brain and that allows us to move and hear and see and sleep and do all the things that the brain does. So now we're very lucky, because if we want to study the brain and learn about the brain, we don't have to have anybody get hurt. How do you keep from getting your brain hurt? Oh, well, you wear a hat. You know how kids wear a helmet every single time they get on their bike? Yeah, and I wear a crown all day long to protect my brain. So here are some really fun things about the brain. The human brain weighs about 3 pounds. 3 pounds! My whole body doesn't weigh 3 pounds. Well, Queenie, this is the human brain. You're a puppet. Oh, we're different. And the longest neuron, a neuron is a nerve cell that's inside the brain. And in a grown-up, those neurons can get as long as 3 feet. 3 feet. I only have 2 feet. No, 3 feet is how long it is. Like if you take a yardstick, a big wooden ruler, it's about 3 feet long. And a nerve cell can get that big. There's some of the longest cells in the whole body. And the human brain has more than 85 billion of these neurons. Wow, that's a big number. It sure is. Can you imagine? I can't count to 85 billion, can you? I don't think so. I wonder if the kids out there can do it. I don't know, it would take a long time. If you took all your neurons and you laid them in a straight line, they would stretch all the way from Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, Georgia. That's about 550 miles. Pretty far away. So there are 2 different kinds of brain cells. We already talked about the neurons. They're nerve cells. And the picture actually is a pretty good picture of a nerve cell, but it's only one kind. There are lots of different nerve cells in our brains. And then there are glial cells. Glial is a word that means glue. And the glial cells are called glial because people, when they first saw them, thought they were there to glue the nerve cells together in the brain, so they didn't fall out. Well, I guess that's true. So they stay right where they are and can do their job without moving around. So neurons, these nerve cells, they come in all different shapes and sizes, kind of like people. Yeah, that's true. And people do different jobs. And the same way, nerve cells do different jobs too. And so they look in a way that helps them do the job that they do. So the cell that's sitting on the left, the black and white picture, is called a pyramidal cell. And that's in a part of the brain that helps with learning and memory. And it has lots of branches on it. And those branches go to different parts of the brain so that we can get memories from what we see and what we hear and what we feel and what we smell. And then on the right side of the slide is a cell called a Purkinje cell. And it's colored in green in this picture, but inside of us, it's the same color as the pyramidal cell. It's not green. We just put a dye in it so it's easy to see it. So that green cell is in a part of the brain called the cerebellum. And the cerebellum helps us with a lot of things, but probably the one people talk about the most is balance. It helps us keep our balance and stay upright, and it helps us walk in a straight line, and it helps us line ourselves up with what we see and what's all around us. And so it has to have branches that go to other cells that help us walk and other cells that help us reach for things. And so it has many, many, many short little branches that go within the cerebellum. So you can see the nerve cell has a lot of different parts. It has a top part that's called the cell body, and the cell body has a part in it. See the dark dot in the middle of the cell body? Yeah. That dark dot is called the nucleus. And the nucleus has all the DNA that makes that cell know exactly what it should do and what it should look like and where it should go. It's kind of like the director. It has dendrites. Those are those branches that take in signals from what we see and hear and feel and bring them in to the cell body. Then it has an axon that leads from the cell body out of the nerve cell to the next nerve cell in the chain. And it brings all the information it takes in and sends it down the line. Oh, kind of like a telephone wire. Yeah, that's very good. It's exactly like a telephone wire, Queenie. Now, on a telephone wire, all of the signals that came down would leak out if you didn't have something to hold them in and to make it so that the signal moves way down this very, very long wire without leaking out. And a nerve cell has the same thing. And that substance that sits on the outside of the axon and prevents signals from leaking out is called myelin. That's a hard word to say. Yeah, well, why don't you try it? Myelin. Yeah, that's exactly right. Well, so if it's in my brain, it's myelin, and if it's in your brain, it's urolin. No, Queenie, everybody has myelin. And then there are little processes, little branches that come off the bottom of the axon, and they tell the next cells in the line what this nerve cell learned. So again, it's like a telephone wire. One telephone calls the other, and that calls the next one, and that calls the next one. And they do this by having branches that are covered in myelin so the signal doesn't leak out on the way down the chain. That's so cool. So this is a different kind of cell. This one's not a neuron. This is one of the glial cells, those cells that people thought were glue. And this one, called an oligodendrocyte, makes myelin. And you see the picture that's black and white and has all those circles, one inside the other? That's myelin covering a nerve cell. Really? That little green cell on the left made all that myelin? Yep. They make tons and tons of it, and it wraps itself around the nerve cell. Now, this is another kind of glial cell, and it's called an astrocyte. And astro means star. Oh, like astronauts, they fly around by the stars. Yep, that's exactly right. But doesn't that cell, look at that one. It looks kind of like a star. It has a lot of little branches coming out of it. And one of the things that astrocytes do is they help the nerve cells get all the food they need out of the blood that goes to the brain. And they also help keep poison substances that might get into the blood out of the brain so that the brain doesn't get hurt, but it gets all the food that it needs. And this is the last kind of glial cell. It's called a microglia. And they're kind of funny. Everybody says that microglia are like the garbage cans of the brain. Garbage can? Who puts garbage in their brain? Well, we don't put garbage in our brain, but when we eat food and the food gets broken down, part of it gets used to make energy so the brain can work. But part of it is what's called waste. It's stuff that we don't want anymore. You have to dump it out of the body. And the microglia help gather it up so it gets dumped out of the body. That's very cool. All right, so Queenie, I'm afraid you're gonna have to take a test. Oh no, I don't like tests. This one's a pretty easy test and I'll help you, I promise. Okay, so an ant has about 10,000 neurons. I wish I knew how many a puppet has. Yeah, me too, but I don't. But how many neurons do humans have? You think they have 85 million, 8.5 billion, or 85 billion? Oh, that's easy. You told us before. They have 85 billion. Yep, you got it right. See, I told you not to worry about the test. If you put them all in a line, you could go from Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, Georgia. Okay, Queenie, can you name the 4 major types of brain cells? Oh, I could try, but you might have to help me with 1 or 2. Okay, well, why don't you get started? I know there are nerve cells. They call those neurons. That's very good. And I know there are garbage can cells. And I think they call them microglia. Yep, you're doing great. And then there are the cells that make all the myelin, but I don't remember their names. Well, maybe the kids out there remember the names. Anybody remember the name of the cell that makes the myelin? Oh, I think I heard somebody say oligodendroglia. Yeah, that's it, hooray! And there's one more, the one that looks like a star. Oh, the astrocyte. I almost said astronaut cell. No, It's an astrocyte. You are absolutely right. There they are. But you know, inside of us, they're not colored like this and they don't have faces. I think they look cute. Me too. That's why I got interested in the brain. So how long is the longest neuron in the human body? Well, I think if I had neurons, they'd be about 4 inches long. But humans are very tall. So I think the longest neuron is about 3 feet long. Right you are, Queenie. There it is, going all the way down from the back, all the way into the foot. That's a long distance. Yeah, and it must move a lot when you run. It does. You couldn't run without it. That's the incredible thing. So how much does the human brain weigh, Queenie? Yeah, that's another one that's tricky for a puppet. A puppet brain probably weighs as much as a pea. But a human brain weighs 3 pounds. Yep, you got it. There it is. Wow, I wonder if the kids and their parents out there got it. You did very well, Queenie. I give you an A+. Hooray! Now you can make your own neuron. Here are some instructions for making the neuron. You can make a cell body out of a fluffy ball. You can make an axon, the part that goes to the next neuron in the chain, with a pink pipe cleaner. You can make dendrites with blue pipe cleaners that are shorter. And you can take a yellow straw and put it over the pink pipe cleaner axon and pretend it's myelin. And you can see a picture right over there of the neuron. Have fun making your neuron. Thank you for watching, neuroscientists. I hope I get to greet you as neuroscientists in the future. Bye. Thanks for watching.